I served in Afghanistan from 2010 2011 in Kandahar province. When I came home, I attempted to transition back into a normal lifestyle, but it proved extremely difficult because I had began to realize that I experienced things in life that other people had not, and it was extremely hard to fit in anywhere. A lot of people look at you as a liability when you're a veteran because a lot of veterans claim disabilities, mental problems. Mr. Doyle has taken in myself and several other veterans, and he's helped us to the point where I don't know where any of us would be without him.
In 2012, Mark Doyle founded Rags of Honor, an organization which manufactures custom T-shirts with the belief that providing employment and services to unemployed and homeless veterans can produce great results. The organization uses all its proceeds to hire those veterans that make their products. The company prints their motto on the back of each one. They had our backs, let's keep the shirt on theirs. Mark joins us now on Hiring America. Mark, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be down here. I mean that.
What inspired you to create Rags of Honor?
I spent a year in Afghanistan as part of an anti-corruption task force. So while I was there for a year, I watched $150 to $200 billion worth of civilian projects be built. Meanwhile, being driven around by our tribe team members and seeing other soldiers leave our base, one didn't come back, several did, but after multiple deployments, coming out of the military with PTSD, suffering from a host of injuries, right? Some physical, some mental. So when I transitioned back to Chicago, it was very hard for me to square up what I saw in Afghanistan with regard to civilian reconstruction dollars against the life that veterans were living when they came home. And so I truly decided one night, on my way home, after speaking about it publicly and writing about it for the Tribune, I just essentially snapped and said, I'm going to do something, and why not start a T-shirt company?
Of all things, why apparel?
There wouldn't be a real hard barrier to entry. In other words, for every concert you go to, for every campaign you work on, for every race you run, I knew that there's a T-shirt component to it.
So you started with how many veterans?
Started with 4.
And you have how many now?
We have 10 full-time, but we've hired 19 since we've opened our doors.
And you've had to dip into your own savings account from time to time to hire these veterans,
The whole
right?
thing, yeah, I funded the whole thing from my savings account.
Where does that desire, that passion come from to tap into your own savings account to help other veterans?
I was fortunate that I'd saved a little bit of money, and it really started as an avocation, but when I saw the difference we were making, for instance, when someone you hire starts to cry openly in a coffee shop because she's not going to be homeless, and then another guy who's a full-grown man, served overseas, gives you a hug because you just hired him. I got the sense that this was going to be something bigger than even I thought it could be.
Have these 2 words, "you're hired," become the most important words you could say to a vet?
The most profound words that I have said.
And for those of us who are working, I think it's something we all take for granted from time to time, waking up and going to the office, going to the same job day after day after day. But there's something in that to be very proud of.
The dignity that comes with being able to provide for your family. And understand that, especially after the crash, many, many Americans were 3 paychecks away from losing their apartment. And so it is easier than it sounds to end up in a shelter. Tamika, who works for me, served a tour in Afghanistan as a small arms instructor. She came home, went through the savings she had, couldn't find a job. She has 2 children, ends up living in her car, tries to go to a shelter, almost gets raped, safer to live in her car, served her country for 6 years in the United States Navy.
When you hear stories like that from these employees, I was sleeping in a car. How does it make you feel to be able to turn around and say, guess what, you're hired?
It is, you know, the old saying that you get as much out of doing something nice for somebody. It is so unbelievably true. So when you balance the sleepless nights against the absolute joy on their face to come to work every day and to be back somewhere making a difference, and as I tell them, and anybody who's come to our shop knows it, they really run the business. Like, they do everything. They've learned how to do everything from color separation to printing films to QuickBooks to invoices, and so it is their company. And to see them grow into these roles is just so fulfilling and makes me so happy at the end of the day to see how far we have come from a crazy idea in my car.
They all have homes now?
Everybody who comes to me starts homeless. We get them an apartment.
You help coordinate getting them an apartment when you get them a job?
Yeah, and then I started a foundation as well, because what I found, no surprise, is if you've been homeless, we'll get you an apartment, but you don't have a bed. You don't have a toaster.
You don't have anything.
The things that we take for granted. So I started Rags of Honor 1, which is my not-for-profit. Again, no executive director. All the money that comes in, I just use to help.
How do you help place them in an apartment?
We work with a company called Volunteers of America, great organization in Chicago, and Safe Haven Foundation, which also houses a lot of veterans. We get a lot of our vets there, and we work with their outplacement programs. I call the first stage when we get them off the street triage, and then stage 2 is to get them into living just a normal, what we would call a normal life, of just having a bed and a shower and a shower curtain and things that, you know, to live your life.
How many t-shirts and sweatshirts do you make a day?
Depends. Now we'll go through, on a good day we'll knock out 5,000 or 6,000 a day.
Do you find that people are proud, customers are proud to wear the shirt or the hat?
Funny you should say that. Scores of people wearing one of our t-shirts, taking a picture, posting it on Facebook and saying, I am so proud to support Rags of Honor. So along the way, it's emboldened me to believe that Americans really do cherish the service that our veterans have provided, and they want to find a way to pay them back. And so we've created a national platform. Just go to ragsofhonor.us, go to our store, buy a t-shirt, or if you're doing a fun run and you need 1,000 t-shirts, give us an order for 1,000 t-shirts, and people are responding.
What's next for Rags of Honor?
So I'm hoping in the next month to roll out the Rags of Honor performance wear that I'm going to pitch to universities and high schools and all athletic people around the globe, and we'll see if it works. I think there'll be an appetite for it. I think our story will carry it, and if we make a good product, which we will, because we use all made in America stuff in our shop, that will be the next iteration. I'm hoping to become a custom print company, but I really want to be an apparel company too. Like, I want to have our own branded line where people are proud to say I'm supporting veterans, and I just got the new fall collection of sweatshirts from Rags of Honor.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us on Hiring America.
Thank you. It was great to be here. Thanks so much.